Fundamentals of Leadership. This is a new and short course titled Fundamentals of Leadership, taken from the book Training Courses by Muteb Alqarni. In this course, we will explore the foundations and principles of leadership. Since leadership is one of the most studied topics where nothing new can be brought, we will take a different approach in this course, defining leadership as the art of influence. Who influences others becomes their leader. In this course, we will assume that you have been appointed as a leader of a company or a group of employees, and we are committed to walking you through each stage of this leadership journey, meticulously addressing any potential misconceptions along the way. Our aim is to replace these misconceptions with more informed perspectives, ones you may not have previously considered. Throughout each step, we'll draw inspiration from exemplary leaders whose wisdom can guide you in your own leadership endeavors. So, let's get started. When you are appointed as a new leader, the first and best decision you can start with is to thank and celebrate your predecessors, your previous leaders. Do not fall into the misconception that a leader is a tyrant, conjuring images of ruthless gang leaders. In fact, a leader is empathetic. Empathy is a leadership trait. Yes, the true leader is the one who shows mercy to their predecessors and praises them, not the one who seizes the opportunity to dominate them, recall their mistakes, and seek revenge against them. So, thank the previous leaders and praise them first, and make your role model here the Prophet Muhammad, who forgave the leaders of Quraysh when he came to rule Mecca after them, and praised them without belittling them, saying, "Whoever enters the house of Abu Sufyan is safe." When you thank your predecessors and do not criticize them and confirm your commitment to their leadership styles and appreciate them by celebrating their journey, the second best decision you make is to assure your fellow employees over whom you have been appointed as a leader that you are not the best among them. Yes, do not fall into the misconception that the leader is better than anyone in the team, otherwise they wouldn't have been chosen. You might feel like you're the best because you were chosen as a leader among several individuals. Do not fall into that fallacy, as in reality, the leader is not always the best. Be humble and make your role model the first Islamic caliph, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, who said to his companions, "I have been appointed over you, but I am not the best among you. So if I do well, help me, and if I do wrong, correct me." When you thank your predecessors, former leaders, and praise your colleagues, outstanding employees, you have surpassed the misconception that leadership is leading people, and realize that true leadership is self-leadership. So before leading others, lead yourself to avoid arrogance and conceit. Lead yourself, as most leaders become arrogant at the beginning of their appointment and need self-leadership more than leading others. Lead yourself and control your desires, and make your role model the second Islamic caliph, Umar ibn al-Khattab. He decided to reduce the dowries, and a woman responded to him with a verse from the Quran, and despite being her leader, he obeyed her, acknowledging his mistake, saying, "Omar made a mistake and the woman was correct." When you lead yourself and your ego, you won't think much about attracting attention to yourself by attending work gatherings and ascending platforms. You will rid yourself of the misconception that a leader must be in the spotlight, and you will learn that a leader is someone who cares about actions more than words. So being in the spotlight is not always as necessary as being in action. Do not be deceived that leadership is about confidence and charisma, so you attract attention and spotlight. Make your role model the third Islamic caliph, Uthman ibn Affan, as he was a modest leader whom even the angels were shy of, as reported by the Prophet Muhammad, and he did not seek the spotlight. He went up the pulpit and did not boast with eloquent speeches, but summarized his words and said, "You need a more working leader than you need a rhetorical leader." Then he descended. And indeed, he led Muslims by action, not words. Leadership focuses on actions, not words. As the leadership expert Peter Drucker says, leadership is results. Yes, leadership is actions, and the best action you can take on your first day of leadership is to resolve conflicts among team members, surpassing the misconception that leadership is an individual role. In fact, leadership is a collective role. There is no leadership without a team. Fix the problems between employees first, as leadership begins when you contain the problems of team members and unify them under one heart. Let your role model here be the fourth Islamic Caliph, Ali ibn Abi Talib, as despite his victory in the war against a faction of Muslims, he gave up his victory just to unite the Muslims together. Start by uniting the word, as there are no results from leading a team that lives in constant conflicts. When you settle conflicts, you will gain a cooperative team, and work will begin. Yes, work will begin according to the guidelines issued by your superiors, falling into the misconception that leadership accomplishes work, and in reality, leadership makes a change. Yes, your initial task will be to manage tasks and transactions, but do not forget, after weeks, to update your team about your vision and dream. Set higher expectations and let your role model here be Martin Luther King with his famous phrase, "I have a dream," who articulated his dream of seeing America enjoying justice and equality. Similarly, express your dream to your team. When you announce your dream, vision, and goals to improve the system you were appointed to lead, your team will work with you, considering your expectations of them. Here, you may fall into the misconception that leadership is overseeing and monitoring, so you may start tracking the team and monitoring their performance. In reality, leadership initially is about watching only. Watching is different from monitoring. If monitoring requires pursuit and punishment, watching is a neutral task. Watching what is happening, what are the mistakes, what are the results, what are the shortcomings. Watch without judgments and interventions, and make your role model here, Mahatma Gandhi, who minimized his interventions into his team members' work, making his leadership with a remote inspiration. In this stage of watching, you will notice that there are gossiping employees who convey disturbing news to you and warn you of fake conspiracies. Some of them want a higher position, and some want to form an alliance with you. Here, you may fall into the misconception that leadership is the ability to form alliances, meaning forming spies who convey regular news to you. In reality, leadership is the ability to break alliances and make a team without a hierarchy. Having alliances means having groups close to you that control your decision-making to harm groups far from you. Do not ally with an employee and make your role model Nelson Mandela, as he eliminated racism and classism in South Africa and united an entire nation. When you eliminate alliances in the work environment, you will distance yourself from everyone and see distinguished and undistinguished groups. And you may fall into the misconception of fearing the distinguished as they threaten your authority. You will believe in the misconception that leadership is to have all power, and in reality, leadership is to distribute all power. Yes, the true leader is not the one who dominates and seizes all power, but the one who empowers others and gives them some of it. Empower the distinguished with leadership roles, and they will be the best assistants in achieving your dreams. Empower them and make your role model Abraham Lincoln, as he eliminated the dominance of the whites over power and empowered blacks to lead in state institutions. When you empower the outstanding individuals, don't forget to empower a deputy or two or three to lead the company as successors after you. Start shaping them now by empowering them more in some of your authorities. Make them, and do not fall into the misconception that a leader is born, not made. For a leader is made through empowerment with sufficient authority. Establish a succession plan from the beginning and empower 2 or 3 individuals to be successors after you, with an emphasis on not allowing them to fully seize your power and misuse it against others. Make a successor and let your role model be Jay Lavelle, CEO of B&G, where he focuses on preparing several leaders to be successors after him. When you empower the outstanding individuals and appoint leadership successors, you will find that you have eased your leadership task by creating assistants. With this empowerment, you will focus on ordinary workers and may become frustrated with their average level, falling into the misconception that a leader improves teams. You might think about improving them, and the truth is that a leader leverages the resources of the team as well. The biggest mistake leaders make is trying to change others suddenly, even though changing others requires a long time, spanning several years. Don't change anyone now, but discover each person's potential and deploy them in the right place only, and let your role model be Warren Buffett, chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, as he emphasizes that change is important for growth, but continuity of work is more important, meaning don't get too caught up in improvement. When you empower outstanding individuals as leaders and distribute ordinary individuals in different tasks according to skill, you will notice lazy workers with poor productivity, and you might consider completely dispensing with some of them and replacing them with substitutes, because you fall into the misconception that leadership is recruitment, when in reality, leadership is coaching and training as well. True leadership is succeeding in the organization with the same names and employees, not by changing them. Try to improve those having low productivity with training courses and make your team train each other. Let your role model here be Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, as he demands that employees train each other as a cross-functional collaboration. When you order employees to conduct courses for each other, you might do so in a commanding manner, ordering them to do so because you have the mistaken belief that leadership is giving orders, when in fact, leadership is taking orders and acting on them before ordering others. A true leader is one who receives orders from themselves and follows them before ordering others to do so. Try conducting courses for others so that others can follow you, becoming a leader by example. Leading by example is more effective. Start with yourself and make your role model Lee Kuan Yew, founder of the Singapore Renaissance, as he began by cleaning the streets himself. With the provision of training courses, you will notice an improvement in the performance of some employees in their duties. You may believe that this is all that is required of them, so there is no need for any additional effort. You may believe this because you fall into the misconception that leadership is enforcing duties, when in fact, leadership is encouraging duties as well. Yes, encourage employees when they improve, even if their improvement is only at the level of duty performance without bringing anything new beyond the duty. Encourage, even if this is their duty for which they originally received their salaries, and make your role model Tony Hsieh, CEO of Zappos, as he wrote the book Delivering Happiness, emphasizing the importance of encouraging employees in everything, because encouraging them is encouragement for customers. encourage employees to perform their duties, reward those who go beyond their duties. Don't be content with encouragement alone with those leading initiatives under the pretext that initiative takers love work. By doing so, you are falling into the misconception that leadership is encouraging love of work only. In fact, leadership is rewarding love of work as well. Rewarding is more impactful. The employee who performs more than their duty doesn't necessarily mean that they love their work, but rather they want a reward more deserving than encouragement, either a promotion or a salary increase, etc. Everyone has an interest in improving their role. So, encourage the ordinary ones and reward the initiative takers, and let your role model be Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks, as he gives initiators shares in the company. With the encouragement of duty performers and rewarding of initiative takers, remind those who do nothing of their low levels. You will suddenly find that there are employees who do not work, no matter how many training courses and encouragements are provided. You may now think about starting to punish them, falling into the fallacy that a leader punishes others, when in fact, a leader reminds others only. You don't need direct punishment now, but rather indirect reminder. First, explore the reason for the employee's laziness and tardiness, and address it. If you treat the reasons and they don't change, then remind them for 2 seconds of their mistake and then leave without an altercation, as the reminder is punishment in itself. Remind and let your role model be Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group, as he encourages employees and reminds the negligent and reduces punitive measures. With the encouragement of duty performers, rewarding of initiative takers, reminding of those who do nothing, you will receive the results of work and start the meeting phase. You will meet with your team and speak a lot, believing in the fallacy that a leader has the loudest voice, when in fact, a leader has the quietest voice. A genuine leader prioritizes listening over speaking during meetings, engaging in thorough consultation with their team before making decisions. Consultation is essential for effective leadership within the company. It's crucial to prioritize both listening to and consulting with your colleagues. Take inspiration from Dwight D. Eisenhower, former President of the United States, who epitomized the importance of listening attentively before speaking and seeking extensive input before reaching decisions. When holding meetings and listening to consultations, you may notice that the meetings last longer than necessary. They last because as a leader, you fall into the fallacy that leadership is leading the meeting only, when in fact, leadership is leading the behaviors of the attendees as well. The true leader is the one who restricts the behaviors of the attendees so that they do not deviate from the meeting agenda and prolong it, following the policy of agile leadership. Leading meetings will reveal your leadership skills, so shorten them and let your role model be Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, as he shortens meetings and leaves the long ones. After the meeting ends, it will be the appropriate time to issue some decisions related to the discussed matters. Yes, you will issue a decision that suits you only, because you fall into the misconception that a leader makes decisions, when in fact, the true leader does not issue a decision, but chooses a decision from among others, for the decisions are issued by the employees themselves. The true leader is the one who is skilled in decision choosing from among several decisions, considering the priority in them, not the one who makes an independent decision and disregards his colleagues' ones. Choose a decision, and let your role model be Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany, as she was known for her interest in gathering diverse decisions and choosing the most suitable and unanimous one. When the decision is exceptional and new, you must acknowledge the intellectual rights of the one who proposed it. Do not steal others' ideas under the pretext that a leader makes employees and he is the one who encouraged them, so he owns them and their ideas. In reality, a leader is made by employees. A true leader does not steal the ideas of his employees to take credit for himself in front of higher authorities, but rather he gives credit to his deserving employees and colleagues. Acknowledge the ideas of your colleagues and make your role model Indra Nooyi, CEO of PepsiCo, known for fairly acknowledging and protecting employees' ideas by implementing programs that secure their intellectual rights. When you protect the rights of others, you will create an attractive creative environment where everyone will innovate while preserving their rights. The suggestions for innovation will increase, and you may start to worry that this may delay work completion, as everyone is suggesting something. Indeed, you may fall into the misconception that leadership is an achievement, when, in fact, leadership is innovation as well. Encourage innovation and get rid of administrative traditionalism, as innovation leads to finding shorter processes that accelerate the completion of the work itself. Merely focusing on achievement alone may not change anything. Pay attention to innovation, as nothing will be hindered by innovation. Instead, everything will improve. Make your role model Steve Jobs, former CEO of Apple, as he encouraged innovation and built a globally leading company. Encouraging innovation means ensuring easy access for employees to reach you. This means being available to them at all times to hear their ideas, which they only like to share with you. Here, you must open up and get rid of the misconception that a leader is inaccessible, for in reality, a leader is everywhere. Adopt the open door policy and allow everyone to visit you and share their ideas. Get rid of the dominant office idea on the top floor and always be on the ground. Make your role model Herb Kelleher, CEO of Southwest Airlines, as he mingled with his employees and engaged in meaningful conversations with them. So, apply some innovative ideas and observe the results of the work. Then evaluate the performance of the employees after 6 months. When evaluating employees, do not forget to evaluate yourself, as you may not evaluate yourself due to the fallacy that a leader holds others accountable, when in fact, a leader is accountable. Yes, do not forget to evaluate yourself and acknowledge your mistakes in front of others when you make them, as a great leader creates a comfortable atmosphere for everyone where he starts punishing himself before others. Evaluate yourself first and hold yourself accountable for your mistakes. Encourage a culture of admitting mistakes among employees and make your role model Alan Mulally, CEO of Ford, who was known for admitting his mistakes in front of the team. When you admit your mistakes, everyone will admit theirs, and you will create an atmosphere where experimentation and initiative are not feared. However, with frequent admissions, you may become narrow-minded about the mistakes of others, falling into the misconception that leadership only celebrates achievements, when in fact, it also celebrates failures. Rejoice and celebrate the mistakes of others to make them feel that everyone is learning, and that those who try are rewarded for their efforts, not punished. Create an atmosphere for celebrating innovative mistakes and make your role model Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, who established the Amazon's Failures Wall to celebrate the failures of the company and its employees. When others admit their mistakes and the results do not improve, try changing your team's leaders you installed at the beginning of your leadership journey, and do not hesitate to change those team leaders under the pretext of the misconception that leadership gives chances, because in fact, leadership diversifies chances. Yes, consider changing your team's leaders before changing the team itself. Conduct a rotation of leadership tasks by empowering new leaders to benefit from their experiences. Renew and diversify as change comes with new blood. Make your role model Akio Morita, CEO of Sony, as he always empowers and rotates leadership roles among his team members. If you change your team's leaders and nothing changes, it is more likely that your team is the cause of the failure, not the leaders. So try changing some of the employees here and do not be swayed by sympathy. Do not hesitate to dismiss after warning, and do not fall into the misconception that leadership builds relationships, for in fact, leadership builds successes as well. Warn the negligent first, then warn them again, then draw their attention to the accumulation of their mistakes for the third time, then decide to dismiss and fire them finally. Put the interests of the company above the interests of others, for without this, the company will not progress. Make your role model Jack Welch, CEO of General Electric, known for dismissing without sympathy, raising the slogan, rank or yank. After replacing lower leadership, changing lazy employees, and finding no improvement or development, this means that you need to change yourself as you are the head of the snake. Do not cling to power under the pretext that a leader does not fire themselves, for a leader resigns to give the opportunity to others. Decide to resign before dismissal comes to you. Do not cling to power as it is not permanent for life, and prioritize the interests of the company above your own. Decide to appoint new leaders and successors in your place. Resign and make your role model. Cesar Chavez, President of the United Farm Workers, as he announced his resignation despite demands from his supporters to stay, believing in the importance of not centralizing power in the hands of one leader. When you resign, remember that your leadership task has not ended after resignation. Do not think that leadership ends here, falling into the misconception that leadership is a position, for in reality, leadership is a quality that is constantly developed. All areas of life require leadership skills, whether family, society, etc. Make your approach to learning from your past mistakes, learning from the lessons and mistakes of others, and forming a leadership system and beliefs that eliminate the harm of fallacies and build on correct perceptions. Shape your own leadership philosophy and do not imitate others in everything. Be a mix of philosophies and visions to create a new leadership style unique to you alone. Finally, we come to the conclusion of the Fundamentals of Leadership course. We have learned a lot in this course, and the best thing we learned is that there are established principles and correct perspectives that form the integrated philosophy of leadership. Do not drown in reading about the details of leadership and what to do here and there. Just remember the principles and lead others. Understand the misconceptions and avoid them, and replace them with correct perceptions and adopt them. Practice and apply our course in your family, for instance. Appreciate your previous leader, your father, and affirm that you are not the best among your siblings. Do not look for the spotlight and do not allow conflicts. Then empower your siblings, prepare your successor after you, encourage the exceptional, reward the initiators, warn the negligent, consult and preserve rights, change and amend the family system, then resign and appoint your successor, and never stop learning. This training course, Fundamentals of Leadership, is taken from the book Training Courses by Muteb Alqarni.